Hello, and welcome back to another Chris McPherson Show, Daily Dose Cricket Daily for the 20th of March, an afternoon edition today as we try and fit in around all the cricket that is happening around the world. A huge show to pick apart, though, today. Talking about the Aussie women getting it done to start their Caribbean tour. Was far from clean, but it was a victory nonetheless. Sophie Devine put on a clinic earlier today in Auckland as well. The IPL starting to take some injury hits, certainly some Aussie hits, before it even gets underway, and the BBL could be about to change forever as you know it. We'll keep an eye on that. Of course, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and follow us along across our social media channels at The Chris Mack Show, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. You can find us on all of them. And of course, make sure to follow along here on your home of The Chris McPherson Show on YouTube. But let's get into things. Let's start with the Aussie women up against the West Indies. And Australia did get it done, 164 for 6, defeating the West Indies 121 for 6. A 43-run victory. It was comfortable, but it was far from clean. It was a little bit messy, it's fair to say. When we start with those key talking points, Beth Mooney was the star. She was a class above, peeling off 79 from 55 deliveries, holding the innings together when a few other batters struggled to really get the momentum going. Alongside her was Elise Perry, and they put on a 99-run stand that set the core of that 164-run innings for the Aussies. It was a bit of a slow start, though, for the Aussies, and again, a slow finish. They've probably got some room to improve on how they got out of the blocks and how they brought things home. 34 for 2 off the power play, very sluggish for the Aussies, and just 23 runs off the last 3 overs. They'll certainly be areas of focus over the remaining 2 T20s that they'll be looking to bring home. At 10 overs, the Aussies were 57 for 2, and it didn't look like they were going anywhere too fast, and that's when Beth Mooney flicked the switch. She broke the boundary drought. She accelerated through those middle overs. Perry chipped in with some key boundaries and a little bit of a burst just before falling after that 99-run partnership. And the death overs, as I said, for the Aussies, there's some concern there. Dotton and Henry, they were smart into the wind bowling. They forced some miscues and inability to score runs for the Aussies, and Australia losing wickets in clusters to throw into that makes it really hard to maximise a total. It really looked as we head into those last few overs like they should have been aiming for maybe high 170s to 180. Again, the 164 was enough to get the job done, but probably not the point when you're looking at the bigger, broader picture when we're talking World Cups just around the corner. The fielding for the Aussies, that was another red flag in the West Indies chase. 5 dropped catches, and not overly tough ones either. Those involved, too, were some of the experienced names. Alana King, Talia McGrath, Elise Perry, Georgia Vole. And against better teams, these sorts of fumbles, pardon the pun, will certainly cost you games. Whether it's not being able to finish off your batting innings, whether it's mistakes in the field, certainly both of those together, it's a tough one. And one of the key lines, was from the post-match when they talked about it, and it was, we got away with it tonight. We won't against teams like England or India. So that's the key focus, I think, is how the Aussies deliver that next level. The West Indies chase, well, they were 76 for 1 in the 12th over, and it looked like they were in the game. And then all of a sudden, 3 for none in 10 balls, game over. It took the life out of them, took the wind out of their sails. 3 for 14 for Alana King, ball on a string. She got Hayley Matthews, Shemaine Campbell, and Deandra Dotton. 3 big scalps, and it was a big response after she'd been left out for the T20 matches against India here on home soil. Selection pressure will continue to mount. Where they need to talk about, is it Alana King, is it Georgia Wareham? It's suddenly a real conversation depending on conditions and form. Something else that took my eye in this one was Sophie Molyneux. She did play. It was her first game in as full-time captain now after the retirement of Alyssa Healy. Didn't bowl. Ended up shuffling down the batting order to 9 where she wasn't required. Clearly managing that back injury. And I'm wondering, is it a selector's trying to save face after there's a lot of concerns raised about her ability to play consistent cricket with injuries and niggles when she was initially named as captain. She's not fully contributing just yet, but we'll watch this space and see how it develops over the remaining T20s and the one-dayers, and we wish her all the best. Hopefully she's fit and firing soon. Also on the women's front, New Zealand chased down 150 against South Africa in their third T20 International in their 5-game series. They take a 2-1 series lead. And again, it was the Master Blaster, Sophie Devine, with a Master Blast Masterclass. 59 not out, 2 wickets with the ball, completely controlled the chase. Got down to 82 off 60 required. Still reasonably comfortable in modern-day T20s, but far from home. And Devine took over, just clubbing it through the leg side. A strike rate over 200 in this key phase. New Zealand never panicked. They used the short boundaries at Eden Park quite well, and Devine just finished it in only the way that she does. calmly, composed, with no fuss, but still striking at 200 plus. For the South Africans, I think there's probably some, hard looks in the mirror for a couple of key players. Laura Woolvart really struggled to get going. 37 off 39 just isn't enough, especially on a ground like Eden Park. And then a middle overs collapse, 59 for 5 and 38 balls in that middle overs without a boundary. You combine those two things, and it really shows that they're just not posting the totals that they should be and not, getting to where they were in the previous World Cup. They've got talent, the South African side. We know that, but just not delivering on it quite yet at the moment. One player who certainly was a star for them, scoring some quick late runs, was their former under-19s captain, Kayla Reineke. She got 34 not out off 20 late. She got some serious power down the ground. As I said, former under-19s captain. She's showing some elite finishing traits, and we look forward to seeing some more of her. She's certainly a young star on the rise. But South Africa, they lacked that tempo and finesse through those middle overs. New Zealand looked far more of a complete unit, as we talked about in our last episode, and that certainly played out that way. And South Africa are going to have to find a big response in games 4 and 5. The New Zealand men's game against South Africa is underway as we record the third match. It's partway through that game. In terms of that, though, it's the third match again of a 5-match series. And the keynote is this game that's in players and will probably be done by the time you watch this, is the final appearance in this series for Lockie Ferguson, Mitch Santner, and Devin Conway. They'll all be rested for the final 2 matches. Squad rotation a priority for New Zealand at the moment, just finding that balance with such a hectic and busy white ball and indeed international calendar for so many sides. We now move on to the news around the grounds, an IPL update and an injury and availability crisis in the IPL with an Aussie fast bowler flavour, I guess you would say. We've already seen Pat Cummins a delayed start. Josh Hazlewood is unlikely early for Royal Challengers Bangalore. Mitchell Starc will be unlikely to start the tournament for Delhi. So those 3 already out of action. Jack Edwards now has been ruled out with a foot injury for Sunrisers Hyderabad, and Nathan Ellis looks likely out with a hamstring injury. So that'll be 5 big international names from Australia who will be out of action for the start or the full in 2 cases there in Edwards and Ellis's case. It's a tough one, but Cricket Australia, they're needing to focus on managing the workloads. There's a huge calendar coming up ahead, but those IPL franchises are going to be without some of their star names from Australia, which will be interesting to see whether that has an impact on Aussie interest in the league when it gets underway in a week or so's time. While we're talking about franchise cricket, let's talk the Big Bash as well and BBL privatisation. The formal decision looks like it'll happen sometime around mid-April, so we're expecting probably about another 3 to 4 weeks away. The states are all reviewing detailed proposals now around it. The latest emerging pieces are suggesting that not all teams will need to be sold. There's a hybrid model of possible, some clubs private, some not. It's going to be huge. That's a huge flexibility because originally it looked like it was going to have to be all clubs voting in favour or a significant majority and pushing it forward with those clubs and essentially having all 8 teams either privatised or not. So it'll be interesting to see. New South Wales and Victoria, it looks like they will go either all in or all out in terms of their approach. So for the likes of New South Wales with Sydney Thunder and Sydney Sixers, it'll either be both have privatisation or both don't. They'll keep a level playing field, and the same with the Renegades and the Stars in Melbourne. But they could sell different percentage stakes per club. So there's quite a lot of dynamic and flexible options there. It'll be interesting to see. And the reality of it all is this is all happening because the BBL needs more capital into it to compete globally, attract the top players. It has started to dip off across that, spectrum in recent times, especially with the SA T20 and the IL 20 as well, all sort of overlapping with the Big Bash. And I'll hopefully improve that product as they try and find the balance to compete with the likes of those competitions I just touched on. The key issue is around the players and how that impacts them with the ACA agreement locked in until 2028. Privatisation will likely mean renegotiation is required, and that will be a major hurdle. So even if it is approved, it may not be for a season or 2 yet. But the debate still rages. Should it be about selling equity? Should it be about finding alternative funding? And New South Wales is certainly a huge advocate at the moment of exploring everything first before making any commitments. You throw into that the extra layer that New Zealand are considering a franchise T20 comp as well, and that we don't know what exactly that will look like, whether or not that will become a league with privatisation, which could quickly see it accelerate past the Big Bash in that same window. That global T20 landscape is continuing to evolve at a very, very quick rate. But that's your Cricket Daily. Lots happening across both international and franchise cricket. A huge thanks to you for tuning in. Make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments. Your thoughts around Sophie Molyneux being in the side. Is she ready to go, or is it just selectors trying to save face? Alana King versus Georgia Wareham. Where do you lean? Should the BBL go private? What are your thoughts on that? Make sure to like the video, hit subscribe on the channel, follow along. And of course, you can catch us on our social media channels at The Chris Mack Show on your favorite social media channels. But we'll see you next time here on your home of the black and white of sports and the great opinions, The Chris McPherson Show.